Hi, my name is Nilu. I'm 18 years old and I come from Iran. I want to tell you a true story that happened to me about 4 years ago. It's a sad story and maybe it would make you upset, but I know you will like it. I was walking on a street. I was so nervous because I knew something bad was going to happen. I wanted to walk forever and never meet him again. The night before he called me and said,
I have to see you tomorrow night at the same place.
The same place was a little park that we called Friends Park. A small park which has so many old and big trees. A few people just knew about this park. When I arrived at the same bench which we always sat there, all the memories were passing through my head, good and bad. The memories that I've experienced in 2 years of being with him. The memories that thinking of them made me sad, because after this meeting, there will be no memories. I closed my eyes and wanted to listen to birds singing. But at that night, there was no birds singing. Even they knew that something bad is going to happen. That night, it was so quiet and kind of scary. I heard footsteps, slow but strong as always. I saw his shadow in front of me. He blocked the street light and I couldn't see his face. He sat next to me and now I could see his hazel eyes which were begging, "Don't leave me." His face was very pale. He was definitely sad and depressed. He held his head between his hands. He was shaking, but it was summer. Oh no, he was sobbing. I could feel how sad he was, as sad as I was. He looked straight into my eyes, the look that made me melt, like sun melting ice. Finally he said,
I can't take this anymore. I love you more than anything. Who's the one is leaving? You're the one who's leaving me.
He looked deeply into my eyes and said with a voice that I had never heard before from him,
Sorry, but we are done.
My heart stopped beating. I couldn't breathe for a moment. I repeated in my head, "We're done. Why we can't stay together? Why you do this to me?" But I couldn't find any answer because there were no specific answer. It was my fault. I could see tears coming down slowly from his hazel eyes. I didn't know what to say. What did I have to say? To calm him down. He said with a hard sob,
I'm so sorry, Nilo, but we have to. I have no more choice.
My eyes were full of tears. I couldn't stop them. He hugged me and he whispered into my ear,
My love, stop crying. It's not your fault. Stop it. Please stop it for God's sake.
But I couldn't stop crying. I can't imagine my life without him. Who I have to blame? Canada? My parents? God? My life? Him or myself? After a while, when we both calmed down, he looked at me with a serious look and said,
You're going to Canada so far from here.
he looked down at the ground and said under his breath,
I hate Canada.
and there was it, the last kiss and the last glance, which made me crazy about him, but doesn't work anymore. He stood up and looked at me, said goodbye, and then he left. I couldn't even say goodbye. I don't know how long I was there crying, but I can remember that kiss. Sweet, but it was salty though, because of tears. I promised myself that I will never forget him, and now, after 3.5 years, I still can't forget him. He was my first love, and since him, no one could come instead of him.
Amor mío, por favor, tú no te vas. Yo contaré a la